Good morning everyone. Myself Sujit Pandey, Assistant Professor of Aeronautical Department in Parel University. Now our subject is helicopter engineering. Now we have to discuss what are the helicopter engineering subjects. Now in this subjects, now we are going to deliver third chapters, momentum analysis of helicopters. What are the momentum theory analysis of helicopters? Okay. Now we have to go through one by one. Now, first we have to know that what is the helicopter motion equation. Origin we know F is equal to ma, Newton's second law, and for rigid body motion F is equal to dv dmv by dt plus mw m omega into v, where v is the velocity of mass center and omega is the angular velocity of rigid body and m is the moment angular, then dh by dt plus omega into h is the angular momentum. For the calculation, the equations can be written in a scalar form. The left side of the equations are aerodynamic force and gravity. The right side of the equation is the initial force, moment caused by angular acceleration, and in the force equation the cross product of vectors is the centrifugal force. In the moment equation the cross product of vectors is the gyro moments. Right? Now we can go for the next. This is the feature about the helicopter motion equations. Okay. Now the three function of rotor. First is vertical lifting force in opposition to the weight. Second is horizontal propulsive force for forward flight, and third is the control the attitude and position of the helicopters. Now we can see here the aeroplanes compared with helicopters, the separated versus 3 in 1. In aeroplanes all three function we have different devices, but in helicopter 3 in 1, all three function it will be delivered by one system, main rotor system. Right? Okay, this is the basic difference for because helicopters main rotor system has the three functions, and for aeroplanes have for different functions have different systems. Okay. Now outline. What is the outline of this chapter is the momentum theory analysis in hovering flight. Second is momentum theory analysis in axial climb and descent, and third is momentum theory analysis in forward flight. Now first is assumptions of the flow. In first, one dimensional is flow properties across any plane parallel to the rotor plane are constant. What are the assumptions of the flow? First is one dimensional flow properties across any plane parallel to the rotor plane are constant, and quasi-static is the second assumption. Flow properties at a point do not change with time, and incompressible, third assumption, the density of the flow is constant, and fourth assumption is nothing but in viscous flow, no viscous shear between fluid elements. These are the four assumptions of the flow in momentum theory analysis of helicopters. Now conservation's law of aerodynamics. In this unit, conservation of fluid mass, double integration surface integration, double integration of closed surface integration is rho v ds is nothing but continuity equation is equal to constant. And next thing is conservation of fluid momentum is the force is equal to double integration of closed integral, and at surface integral of closed integral double integration, and p ds plus surface integral of closed double integration rho v ds into v. And next is conservation of energy. W is equal to is nothing but power energy per unit time double integration of closed integral at surface integral 1 upon 2 rho v ds is nothing but mass flow rate into v square. Now the flow model, we can see in a figure, flow model used for momentum theory analysis for a rotor in axial flight. Now Vc is the coming velocity and Vc plus Vi is the total velocity near the rotor disc plane, just above the rotor blades, and just below the rotor blades is a point 2, and point infinity is nothing but the wake region where total velocity is the Vc plus omega, right? Now we have to go for discuss about what the momentum theory analysis for hovering flight one by one. Now in this unit we have to discuss what are the hovering conditions and what are the momentum analysis. The applications to a hovering rotor is nothing but for different planes we can, by using the conservation of mass flow rate is equal to double integration of rho v ds is equal to double integration of rho v ds. 1D incompressible flow rho a omega is equal to rho a to vi and is equal to rho a vi. By conservation of momentum, f is equal to t is equal to double integration of rho v ds into v minus double integration of rho v ds into v, means final force minus initial. The flow model used for the momentum analysis for a rotor in axial flight in a figure, and the hovering flight t is equal to double integration at infinity rho v ds into v is equal to mass flow rate into omega, and by the conservation of energy t into vi is equal to double integration of at infinity 1 upon 2 rho v ds mass flow rate into v square. Final minus initial is double integration at point 0 1 upon 2 rho v ds into v square in final minus initial, and the hovering flight tvi is equal to double integration at infinity 1 upon 2 rho v ds into v square is equal to 1 upon 2 m dot omega square. Nothing but what vi is equal to 1 upon 2 into omega. Induced velocity is equal to half of the downwards velocity, right? This is application to a hovering rotor. Now we have to go for the next slide. In this slide, by conservation of mass, rho a vi is equal to rho a infinity omega is equal to rho a infinity bracket 2 vi is equal to 2 rho a infinity into vi, where vi is equal to 1 upon 2 to omega. The ratio of cross-sectional area of the far wake to the area of the rotor disc is a infinity by a is equal to 1 upon 2, and by considering the radius r infinity is equal to r by root 2, the ratio 0.707 is called the wake contraction ratio, and this is the flow model used for momentum theory analysis of a rotor in axial flight. Now we can see that 0 is the reference line, starting initial lines, and Vc the coming velocity, and Vc plus Vi is the total velocity near the rotor disc plane, and in infinity line out far wake of the helicopter is nothing but total velocity is Vc plus omega. And the flow model used for momentum theory analysis of a rotor in axial flight. The ratio 0.707 is called the wake contraction ratio. Now the induced velocity Vi and rotor power P, where Vi is equal to 1 upon 2 of omega, by conservation of momentum T is equal to mass flow rate into omega is equal to mass flow rate into 2 Vi, or is equal to 2 into rho a Vi into Vi, or we can say 2 rho a Vi square. Vi is equal to square root of t by 2 rho a, or we can say square root of t by a into 1 by 2 rho. T by a is known as the disc loading. The power required to hover is P is equal to T into Vi, we can say T into Vh is equal to T into square root of T by 2 rho A, or we can say T to the power 3 by 2 upon 2 rho A. This power is called ideal power. One can alternately write P is equal to T into Vi, or 2 rho A Vi square into Vi, or we can say finally 2 rho A into Vi cube. The cube of induced velocity, the larger rotor disk area and less velocity for the minimum induced power. This is a figure for again for model used for the momentum theory analysis of a rotor in axial flight. Now we can know that what is the induced power and what is the rotor power. Right? Okay. Next, pressure variation. Pressure variation, since there is a pressure jump, Bernoulli equations cannot apply across the disk. Between station 0 and 1, P naught is equal to P infinity is equal to P1 plus 1 upon 2 rho Vi square, and between station 2 and infinity, P2 plus 1 upon 2 rho Vi square is equal to P infinity plus 1 upon 2 rho omega square. Assume the jump is uniform, pressure jump equal to disk loading, delta P is equal to P2 minus P1 is equal to T by A, or T by A is nothing but P2 minus P1 is equal to P infinity plus 1 upon 2 rho omega square minus 1 upon 2 rho Vi square, minus of P infinity minus 1 upon 2 rho Vi square, then finally 1 upon 2 rho omega square. This is nothing but T by A. We can further determine the pressure in the term of disk loading. Just above the disk is P1 is equal to P infinity minus 1 upon 2 rho Vi square is equal to P infinity minus 1 upon 2 rho omega by 2 whole square is equal to P infinity minus 1 by 4 into T by A. And just below the disk is P2 is equal to P naught plus 1 upon 2 rho omega square minus of 1 upon 2 rho omega by 2 whole square is equal to P naught plus 3 by 4 into T by A. Right? Okay. Now, next thing is comparison of theory with measured rotor performance. This is nothing but Cp is equal to Ct into lambda I is equal to Ct to the power 3 by 2 upon root 2. The figure 2.7, the relation is essentially correct. The differences between the momentum theory and experiment occurs because viscous effect. Now we can see in this figure comparisons of prediction made with momentum theory to measured power for a hovering rotor. Now y-axis represents the power coefficient Cp, the x-axis represents the thrust coefficient Ct. Now we can see there for different values of K and different value of Ct naught, we can see the different graphs will be plotted in this figure. Right? Understood? Okay, now we can go for the next slide. Non-ideal effect on rotor performance. Induced power Cpi is equal to K times of Ct to the power 3 by 2 upon root 2. K is nothing but induced power correction factors. It is empirical coefficient, and drag profile power is nothing but induced drag force, and P naught is equal to 1 upon 8 rho Nb omega q into C into Cd naught into R to the power 4 chain to coefficient, then Cp naught equal to 1 upon 8 Nbc by Nbc into R divided by A into Cd naught is equal to 1 upon 8 Nbc into R divided by pi R square into Cd naught, or we can say 1 upon 8 Nbc by pi R into Cd naught, or equal to 1 upon 8 sigma Cd naught. Sigma is the rotor solidity, the ratio of blade area to the rotor disk area. Now the figure is the result of the modified theory. Cp is equal to Cpi plus Cp naught is equal to K into C to the power 3 by 2 upon root 2 plus sigma Cd naught by 8. Means total power coefficient is nothing but induced power coefficient plus profile power coefficient. Right? Now in the figure also you can see the power coefficient Cp and the thrust coefficient Ct, and the different values of Ct and K and Cd naught. You can got the different graphs. The comparison of the prediction made with momentum theory to measure power for a hovering rotors, it will be shown in the figure. You can see. Right? Now we can go for the next. Momentum analysis in axial climb and descent. Then in axial climb, the conservation of mass flow rate is equal to integration, double integration at infinity lines rho v ds is equal to double integration at point 2 rho v ds. Mass flow rate equal to rho e infinity vc plus omega is equal to rho e infinity vc plus vi. The conservation of momentum t is equal to double integration infinity rho v ds into v minus double integration at point 0 initial point rho v ds into v. Now t is equal to m vc plus omega minus m dot vc equal to m dot omega. Now the conservation of energy is equal to t vc plus vi is equal to double integration at infinity line 1 upon 2 rho v ds into v square minus double integration 1 upon 2 rho v ds into v square. And 1 upon 2 m dot vc plus omega whole square minus of m 1 upon 2 m dot vc square. And finally we can say 1 upon 2 m dot omega into 2 vc plus omega, where vi is equal to 1 upon 2 upon omega, right? This is the feature of about the axial climb. Now next is the in axial climb for hovering, vh or vi is equal to square root of t by 2 rho a, or vi is equal to 1 upon 2 by omega. The conservation of momentum is equal to t by m dot omega is equal to rho a vc plus vi into omega is equal to 2 rho a in bracket vc plus vi into vi. Now t by 2 rho a is equal to vh square equal to vc plus vi into vi, or we can say vc plus vi square. Then finally the term of quadratic equation vi by vh whole square plus vc by vh into vi by vh minus 1 is equal to 0. Solve this quadratic equation, we will get the answer vi by vh equal to minus of vc by 2 vh plus minus square root of vc by 2 vh whole square plus 1. Since in this situation vi and vh in the same direction, then vi by vh equal to minus of vc by 2 vh plus of square root of vc by 2 vh whole square plus 1. Right? This is the velocity ratio for axial climb in momentum theory analysis of helicopters. Right? Now we can go for the next. Axial descent windmill state, conservation of mass flow rate equal to double integration at infinity line rho v ds is equal to double integration 2 rho v ds, m dot is equal to rho a infinity vc plus omega plus is equal to rho a vc plus vi. Conservation of momentum is equal to t is equal to minus of double integration rho v ds into v minus double integration 0 rho v ds into v. Then thus t is equal to minus of m dot in bracket vc plus omega minus of minus m dot plus vc into vc, finally minus m dot into omega. The conservation of energy is t into vc plus vi is equal to double integration at point 0 1 upon 2 rho v ds into v square minus double integration in infinity 1 upon 2 rho v ds into v square is equal to 1 upon 2 m dot vc square minus m dot 1 upon 2 m dot vc plus omega whole square is equal to 1 minus of 1 upon 2 m dot omega to vc plus omega. Then vc plus vi is equal to 1 upon 2 omega. Right? Now we can go for the next. The axial descent known as windmill state for hovering, vi is equal to vh equal to square root of t by 2 rho a, and the conservation of momentum t is equal to minus of m dot omega is equal to rho a vc plus vi into omega, or we can say minus of 2 rho a in bracket vc plus vi into vi is equal to t by 2 rho a is equal to vh whole square is equal to minus of vc plus vi into vi is equal to minus of vc into vi minus of vi square. Now in quadratic equation vi by vh whole square plus vc by vh into vi by vh plus 1 is equal to 0. Solve the quadratic equation, then we will get vi by vh is equal to minus of vc by 2 vh plus minus square root of vc by 2 vh whole square minus 1. Then one of the solution let vi by vh is greater than equal to 1, which violates the assumed flow models. Vi by vh equal to minus of vc by 2 vh minus of square root of vc by 2h whole square minus 1. This is the equation of velocity ratio of axial descent in a hovering flight in axial flight conditions for momentum theory analysis of helicopters. Right? Now we can go for next. The axial descent region between hovers and windmill state. The region minus 2 is less than equal to vc by vh is less than equal to 0, since the flow can take on two possible direction and well-defined slipstream cases to exist. This means that a control volume cannot be defined that encompasses only the physical limit of the rotor depth However, the velocity curves can still be defined empirically eventually, approximately on the basis of the flight test or other experimental with rotors. Unfortunately, the descending flight acts with a centuries interactions objective vortices with other blades, and so the flow becomes rather unsteady and turbulent, and the experimental measurement of the rotor thrust and power are difficult to make. Also, the average induced velocity cannot be measured directly. Instead, it is obtained directly from the measured rotor power and thrust. The measured rotor power can be written in the assumed form as P measures equal to T into Vc plus Vi plus P naught, using the result Ph equal to T into Vh, and Vc plus Vi by Vh equal to P measures minus P naught by Ph equal to P measures minus P naught by T square root of T by 2 rho A is equal to P measures minus P naught in bracket square root of 2 rho A divided by W to the power 3 by 2. In addition to the measured rotor power, Cp naught is equal to sigma Cd naught by A. Right? Now the axial descent region between hover and windmill state. Many authors suggest a linear approximation to the measured curves. Then Vi by Bh is equal to K minus Bc by V for minus of minus 1.5 is less than equal to Bc by Bh is less than equal to 0, and second is the K times in bracket 7 plus 3 Vc by Bh for minus 2 is less than equal to Vc by Bh is less than equal to minus of 1.5. K is assumed induced power factor in hours. A better approximation to be measured curve is Vi by Bh is equal to in K minus 3 by 4 Vc by Bh for minus 8K by 4K plus 1 is less than equal to Vc by Bh is less than equal to 0, and second is K times in bracket 7 plus 3 Vc by Bh for minus of 2 in less than equal to Vc by Bh is less than equal to minus 8K divided by 4K plus 1. A continuous approximation to the measured induced velocity curve at this range is Vi by Bh equal to K plus Ki in bracket Vc by Bh plus K2 in bracket Vc by Bh whole square plus K3 Vc by Bh whole cube plus K4 Vc by Bh whole 4, and so on. And K1 is equal to minus of 1.255, K2 is equal to minus of 1.372, K3 equal to minus of 1.718, K4 is equal to minus of 0.655. Right? Now we can go for next. The axial descent induced velocity ratio Vi by Bh and climb velocity ratio Vc by Vh. This is the region between turbulent wake regions. State point of ideal auto decision Vc plus 2 Vi is equal to 0. The momentum theory invalid in this region, vortex in intermediate region, vortex ring stable descent, and after that is normal working state, and before that is break state. Okay, means starting from the 0 onwards in positive value it will be normal working condition. In 0 to minus 2 is the momentum theory invalid, and minus 2 to beyond is the break state fails. Right, now we can go for the next in the axial flight descent. So now the power required in axial climb and descending flight. In climb or descent, the power ratio is P by Ph equal to Vc plus Vi upon Bh equal to Vc by Bh plus Vi by Bh. Then is the first term is the potential energy change, and second term is the work done on the air. For climb, Vc by Bh equal to minus of Vc by 2 Bh plus square root of Vc by 2 Bh whole square plus 1. P by Ph equal to Vc by 2 Bh plus square root of Vc by 2 Bh whole square plus 1, which is the value for Vc by Vh is less than equal to 0, is greater than equal to 0, and for quick descent Vi by Vh equal to minus of Vc by 2 Bh minus of square root of Vc by 2 Bh whole square minus 1, and P by Ph equal to Vc by 2 Bh square root of Vc by 2 Bh whole square minus 1, which is a valid for Vc by Vh is less than equal to minus 2. Right? Now for next slide is the momentum analysis in forward flight. In this flight, the mass flow through the actuator is mass flow rate is equal to rho A U, in which U is equal to square root of A V infinity cos alpha square plus V infinity sin alpha plus Vi whole square, and finally we can say square root of V infinity square plus 2 V infinity Vi sin alpha plus Vi. The conservation of momentum in a direction normal to the disk is equal to T is equal to mass flow rate into bracket omega plus V infinity sin alpha minus m dot V infinity sin alpha is equal to m dot omega. The conservation of energy equal to P is equal to T into Vi plus V infinity sin alpha or we can say 1 upon 2 m dot in bracket v infinity sin alpha plus omega whole square minus of 1 upon 2 m infinity square sin squared alpha. And finally we can say 1 upon 2 m dot in bracket 2 v infinity omega sin alpha plus omega square. This is nothing but 2 omega vi plus 2 v infinity omega sin alpha is equal to 2 v infinity omega sin alpha plus omega square, where vi is equal to 1 upon 2 omega. Okay. Now we can see in a figure also, the figure is nothing but you can see the velocity profile triangles v infinity and y vertical component is v infinity sin alpha and horizontal component v infinity cos alpha. Alpha is the makes an angle between the chord line and the placed velocity, and the total velocity near the rotor disc plane is vi plus v infinity sin alpha, and the far away of the regions is nothing but v infinity sin alpha plus omega, the slick string. Now the rotor lift is L is acting perpendicular onwards, and propulsive force is nothing but torque, and rotor thrust is acting at some angle of attack, some at an angle, right? Now we can go for the next. Now forward flight, so T is equal to 2 mass flow rate into Vi, 2 rho a u into Vi is equal to 2 rho a Vi square root of V square plus 2 V infinity Vi sin alpha plus Vi square. For forwarding flight, V infinity is equal to 0, T is equal to 2 rho a Vi square, 2 rho a V whole square. It confirms the equations. As the forward speed increases, V infinity is equal to Vi, T is equal to 2 rho a Vi into V infinity. It is the high speed approximation. Right? This is the features about the forward flight. I think understood. This is the figure also. This is the previous figure, same figures, right? Now the induced velocity in forward flight. In forward flight, the thrust is T is equal to 2 m dot Vi is equal to 2 rho a u into Vi, or we can say 2 rho a Vi into square root of V infinity square plus 2 V infinity Vi sin alpha plus Vi square. Now is equal to 2 rho a Vi square root of V infinity cos alpha whole square plus V infinity sin alpha plus Vi whole square, or we can say Vh square is equal to T by 2 rho a, then Vi is equal to Vh square divided by square root of V infinity cos alpha whole square plus V infinity sin alpha plus Vi whole square. Now the tip speed ratio, also called as advance ratio, denoted by mu, is equal to V infinity cos alpha divided by omega r, and inflow ratio lambda is equal to V infinity sin alpha plus Vi divided by omega r. Omega r nothing but T velocity, and V infinity cos alpha is the horizontal component of the velocity of in forward flight, and V infinity sin alpha plus Vi is the total velocity near the rotor disc plane, and omega is the T velocity. Now lambda is equal to what? V infinity sin alpha by omega r plus Vi by omega. Then mu, we can write down mu tan alpha plus lambda I. Now lambda is equal to mu tan alpha plus Ct divided by 2 square root of mu square plus lambda square. Now lambda is what? Lambda h square by divided by mu square plus lambda square root. Then in lambda h is equal to square root of Ct by 2. Then finally in lambda is equal to what? Ct by 2 square root of mu square plus lambda square. Yeah? This is the feature about the induced velocity in forward flight. Now in this unit we have to remember it: advance ratio, tip speed ratio, or inflow ratio. Both things are important for this lens. Right? We can go for the next. Now a special case, alpha is equal to 0. The induced velocity ratio in forward flight is lambda is equal to Ct divided by 2 square root of mu square plus lambda square is equal to lambda h square divided by square root of mu square plus lambda square. We can say in fourth terms of equation is, fourth order equation is lambda I to the power 4 plus mu square lambda I square plus minus of lambda h to the power 4 is equal to 0. Or in the, if you dividing the term of lambda square, then lambda I by lambda h to the power 4 minus plus of mu by lambda h to whole square into lambda by lambda h whole square minus 1 is equal to 0. The solution is lambda by lambda h equal to square root of, in bracket, square root of 1 by 4 mu by lambda h whole to the power 4 plus 1 minus of 1 upon 2 mu by lambda h to the whole square is to the power of 1 upon 2. The result is shown in the figure. The induced velocity decreases quite quickly with increasing forward flight velocity. Now we can see in the figure, the y-axis represents the induced inflow ratio lambda I by lambda h, and x-axis represents the forward speed ratio mu by lambda h. A special case of induced flow for a alpha is equal to 0, then we can see here two lines. Exact solution is a continuous line and dotted line is the high speed approximation. We can observe that. Understood? Now we can go for the next. The rotor power requirements in forward flight. The rotor power in forward flight is given by P is equal to T in bracket V infinity sin alpha plus Vi is equal to T V infinity sin alpha plus TVI, or reference to the hover results P by P is equal to P by T into Vh in bracket T. We can say T into V infinity sin alpha plus Vi by T into Vh. We can say V infinity sin alpha by Vi by Vh also, or it will be written as lambda by lambda h. Then lambda is equal to what? Mu into tan alpha plus Ct by 2 square root of mu square plus lambda square. Now we can say mu tan alpha plus lambda h square whole square divided by square root of mu square plus lambda square. Right? Now assuming the state and level flight, then assume lambda by lambda is equal to P by P is equal to mu by lambda h tan alpha plus lambda h divided by mu square plus lambda square. Now for particular equilibrium, T cos alpha is equal to omega W and T sin alpha is equal to D cos alpha is equal to drag. Then tan alpha is equal to D by W is equal to D by L is equal to D by T. Now the power equation in a straight and level flight can be written as P by P is equal to mu by lambda h in bracket D by T plus lambda h divided by square root of mu square plus lambda square. Now the angle of attack of the disc relative to the oncoming flow will changes in a climb or descent. In this case, power ratio can be written as the lambda c is the climb velocity ratio, or P by P is equal to lambda c cos alpha plus mu by lambda h tan alpha plus lambda c divided by square root of mu square plus lambda square. Right? Now this is the last slide. Now everyone understood this is the momentum theory analysis for helicopter engineering subject. Now this unit, third unit is completed. Now thank you everyone. I hope everyone enjoying this lecture. We can see you in your next lecture. Okay, thank you. Bye. Goodbye. See you in next lecture. Thank you.